All right. Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mudahar, and this is another podcast episode number 5 with me and my friends. Would you like to introduce yourselves? Please don't make fucking 20-second gaps this time, guys. Come on.
Do it. Okay, so new rule. We'll just do it in the list that's on the general.
Fucking say new rule in the. Just go ahead.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Extreme Elixir.
My name is Sagan.
Hello, everyone. This is Imaru.
Yeah, awesome. And today's topic is a very grim, interesting topic. Today's is all about the saltiness that actually has affected our gaming community.
It's about spats. Come on, it's about spats. It's first. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, kind of. So this topic kind of hit me a little because the reality of it is a very, very grim topic. I don't know if you guys have delved into it. Basically, what we're talking about is the thing that happened in Jacksonville, the shootout at the MADDEN tournament of all things. I was expecting this to be some fucking Call of Duty or tournament or whatever, like a league tournament, but I was genuinely surprised that a football game can cause such outrage. But basically, today's topic is basically talking about the saltiness that exists in the competitive online esports community and why it all makes us look really fucking bad. But essentially, what had occurred was what had transpired, essentially, for those of you who aren't caught up to it, is at this event, basically a player that was pretty prominent in the Madden community. I'm not going to give any names out at this point because nobody like this deserves any recognition for any of their actions. But this individual was pretty salty, pretty angry at the game that they were playing, and was beaten a couple more times than they should have been, and decided to go into a Madden tournament and just shoot out their competition, quite literally shoot out the competition. So I don't know how many of you guys heard of it. Like, you guys heard about this shit, right?
I heard about that shit.
I remember it was at work this week, actually, and it came on the news, and they started talking about, like, because everyone that I work with is slightly older, they like generalized how gaming is like part of the new generation, and like it was only a matter of time before shit like that happened. But yeah, I know about it.
Yeah.
So immediately off the bat, one of the issues I have right now with the way media is covering this is the fact that a lot of them have been trying to make a correlation between Fortnite and the shooting.
Well, of course
I've seen a bit of that, yeah. That's because Fortnite's like the most popular game right now out there. It's still a weird thing. You think that fucking people whose job is journalism, they would say, oh yeah, this is a Madden tournament. It's just a fucking video game tournament. It's not, like, there's no correlations at this moment in time, but I want Amara to give in. Do you hear about it all the way in, like, Argentina, or?
No, we don't have, well, most people don't give a shit about gaming tournaments here, especially since the entire mentality against the U.S. here. They don't care pretty much.
Oh, so you can
just so you have an idea. Just so you have an idea how much they don't give a shit here. Last year there was sorry, going off rail a little bit. Last year a guy won the Pokemon TGC tournament. A guy from Argentina won the World Tournament of TGC in the US. And the comments about it, there were people like, "Oh, dude, what a virgin! Oh shit, why don't you work? Why don't you grab a shovel and go work?" That's how much we care about gaming here.
Oh my. Okay,
yeah,
well.
That's about right. I mean, it was heavily back then I was part of the Pokemon TCG. It was actually heavily heralded because he was the first ever Argentinian to win the World Championship. And the United States gave more of a shit about this guy winning than Argentina did.
Because it's not soccer. That's all the fucking people here care about.
What did Japan think? Fucking gaijins win our tournaments again. Fucking assholes.
That's just it. Here's the thing. The Japanese, it's actually incredibly rare for them to come out on top during Pokemon tournaments because they play under different rules for the entire year. And then they come to the United States to play in the World Championship, which is played under different rules than what they're used to.
Oh, of course the Japanese play under different fucking rules. Why was I not surprised about that shit? Oh, my lord. But essentially, going back to topic over here, now that we know that Amara's country clearly doesn't give a shit about this topic, but he definitely, I think for all of us being gamers, the demonization by fucking the media itself is pretty insulting, and I think it's insulting to the actual people that were killed in that situation. The reason why I wanted to talk about this today was because this stuff makes me feel really bad why it happened, obviously, but I think it accentuated the fact because for me, I was on Twitter that morning, right? I woke up kind of late in that day, well after this Jacksonville thing happened. And one of the people I follow is Etika, and he tweeted out that this was a fucked up situation. And in the comments of his tweet was really fucked up. People were like memeing hardcore, which was retarded. It's like, come on, dude, it just happened. Like, quit being assholes. But the thing that one person posted, which kind of like fucked me up for like that morning, was somebody had actually shared, because this event was live streaming, right? I don't know if it was live streaming on Twitch, but they shared this like 30-second clip. And in this 30-second clip, there was this, they had the face cam and everything, they had the Madden game. And I think the fucking, whoever was the technical director on that, working the mixer, fucking knew what was going on, or like they had a delay because that camera cuts out. And then there's like shots, like actual shots fired. And
yeah, you hear them.
Yeah, there's like screaming, and then it fucking goes quiet. Like, it's a fucked up thing to hear. And it's fucked up because like, it's like being in the middle of it, right? Like you get to see, you see a lot of these fucked up situations like Virginia Tech or Columbine and shit happen from the outside, and it's fucked up to hear about that, but then it's another level to like hear like what the people on like what it was like on site, right? And it's like no matter how many
went down, yeah.
And it's like no matter how many like fucking video games or movies or whatever you use to desensitize yourself into that situation, right? It never desensitizes you. I just want to easily say that. Like, it's eerie hearing that shit happen and happen for real. And it pisses me off knowing that some dude fucking did it literally because they got salty over a video game. Like, that makes us look like trash out into the community. But you should never, ever get that salty over anything. And this goes for not just video games, like fucking sports or any of that nonsense. You should never fucking kill people over trivial, meaningless bullshit. All right, I expected this to happen at like some Counter-Strike or fuck if it happened at a Counter-Strike, Jesus Christ, but a league situation, right? Something where toxicity is known and well above. I didn't fucking expect it at a Madden tournament, and hearing it was just fucked up, right? So I don't know, dude. It was a weird situation.
See, one of the biggest issues I have, obviously the events that happened were absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
my biggest issue. And this is something that goes back to any tragedy that happens. The media uses it to push an agenda. Mm-hmm. Every media outlet has an agenda, whether it be liberal or progressive, right?
Mm-hmm. Typically how it goes.
It's liberal, progressive, conservative. There's, as far as I'm concerned, there's no media out there that doesn't have a slant.
Mm-hmm. No, they all have a point of view. That point of view is their agenda.
It's like this. When you look at liberal media, they take something like this and they argue gun control. And you look at conservative media, they take this and just do the opposite, right? Like,
and that's exactly where I'm going with this. Out of all the articles that I've seen coming out of this since the event happened, a lot of media outlets have been proposing this is why we need gun control, which I wouldn't want to give my opinion on that, but gun control isn't going to help a whole lot there. I'm sorry to say, it's not going to help a whole lot there. I do know that he acquired the firearm legally, so maybe that's something to look into. But the fact of the matter is, the real culprit here that caused the shooting is the fact that the United States has one of the worst mental health care systems in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. There isn't a whole lot of avenues to go down to help yourself out when you have a mental illness. And on top of that, there's a stigma attached to it. As soon as you come out as having something wrong with you in the head, immediately
everyone looks at you really weird.
A stigma is attached to you, and you don't want to go to a therapist about it. So you bottle it up, and you keep letting it fester and fester until something like this, something as simple as losing a tournament, just flips a switch. It causes you to snap. Obviously, he wasn't all right in the head. But something caused him to snap that day, which incited the shooting.
Right. I was gonna say, you said he got it legally?
He did. He got it legally.
So
So-
he had a gun license. What state was fuck, I feel like, Maryland, right? Jacksonville, Maryland. I don't know what the laws, because I know that gun laws are pretty state by state, so I don't know.
Well, was it like a not a national tournament, but like a state tournament?
I just want to let
I
you know.
don't even think, I don't know if that matters.
The only
but
reason I'm
thinking the
asking
state.
is because if he was traveling into Maryland, he like brought the gun knowingly.
Here's the thing, Jacksonville's actually in North Carolina.
So,
Yeah.
oh. So but speaking along the lines of like the mental health thing,
it still attests to the fact that it was premeditated. It had to have been at
well, yeah, the whole thing was that it came out later that he was targeting people that had killed him in this, like, or beat him in the Madden tournaments. Fuck, kill him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely that aspect of it that came out. And Kyle's got a very straightforward point on this. Mental health is not treated well. In a situation like this or any other shooting that occurs, you know, this isn't like a fucking terrorist, you know what I mean, shooting up something. A terrorist isn't, I don't want to say that's mentally disturbed. I think they have a goal, right? There's a mental disturbance there. There's a mental disturbance, but it's usually like on the cause.
Goal-oriented.
It's a goal-oriented. There's a cause behind it. This situation, shooting up a Madden tournaments doesn't have like a fucking political goal, right? You're not trying to incite a revolution or change government or scare people, right? It's some dude literally crazy.
It's meant to hurt people, essentially.
Yeah.
It's meant to get out all of the whatever issues he has.
Yeah, like there's aggression for it, obviously. And the thing about the mental health is that I hate it when like the media, because I talked to this with my aunt. She's like, you know, I got to limit my kids' video gaming time, which you absolutely fucking should. I think you should definitely watch how much your kid plays a fucking video game. That's not really related to this at all. But she was like, you know, if they get too addicted, what if they develop aggressive patterns? I'm like, and then I had to stop her there. I'm like, because she watches the media, right? And the media has to immediately mention it because it's the easiest fucking scapegoat to get to. And for me, I'm like, look, I play Rainbow Six Siege. I play that ranked, okay? Are there days where I get pissed on a shitty set of games? Absolutely. I think anybody that plays a competitive game and is losing, yeah, you get pissed for sure, right? That goes with like League or CS or, I don't know, Forza 7 if that has a super competitive community. But you get pissy. The problem is that none of us have ever thought about, oh, fuck, I'm going to fly to that dude who just killed me on fucking tower and I'm going to throw him off a fucking tower, you know? Nobody thinks of that shit. You know what I mean? And none of us come up with that thought process in our head. Usually, 100% of the time, actually, not usually, certainly a person has to have a fucked up element in their head in order to be thinking premeditatively about killing somebody just because they lost at a fucking video game. The stakes in this, even if you're playing for fucking cash, even if you're playing because this is your career, it's never okay. It never is. You don't see fucking soccer players out there, football players, going crazy and shooting up motherfuckers because they lost a World Cup, right? That's an even bigger stake than some local Madden tournament. Let's be serious here. You don't see that shit happening. Why do we see it occurring over here? Because nobody's out there helping somebody or trying to talk to them. Nobody talked to this individual about their fucked up innards. If somebody had talked to them, if they were put on therapy, if they were put on a sort of watch, nothing like this would have happened. This whole thing could have been avoided. Some dude could have walked back home after a Madden tournament with their life intact, right? You know, that could have happened.
That reminds me a lot of another case. Since we have a lot of not really information about the guy, I don't care if I don't give a shit about his sub story. I don't care about what he was going. He did a horrible thing.
Yeah,
took lives from people who did absolutely nothing. That guy is a monster. He should be not respected. He should be hated all over.
Absolutely.
And that kind of reminds me of this other another shooting that happened a while back, where a guy killed 17 people. I don't remember where, but the guy, that's when people noticed parents. The guy was so out of it. The guy was so out of touch. The people fucking knew, and they actually tipped a lot of authorities before everything happened. He was leaving comments on YouTube. He was leaving comments on Facebook, everything. People fucking knew it was him before the shooting went down. And then he fucking went and take 17 lives because he fucking wanted to be an edgy piece of shit. That's legit the only reason. If you see videos of the trail, you see the fucking guy crying in front of the fucking prosecutor because they fucking want to be edgy. That's fucked up as it sounds. It seems like that's the reason.
So wait a minute. He was posting shit and everyone knew about this? Shit.
A lot of people around him fucking knew it was him. They fucking alerted even before it happened.
Wait, really?
And they actually found videos on his phone talking about he was going to be the next school shooter of the year. And the cringiest shit, saying like, "Oh, you're all going to die." Woo, woo. Legit like that.
So here's a very real issue. And for a person like that, yes, there's something wrong with their head.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I will say about that, those people don't have a true mental illness. They're looking to be famous. And that's a huge issue in today's society.
And that happens,
Fame. Fame.
Yeah, I
You know,
remember seeing somewhere that like
they look at something
well, yeah.
and they say, well, I can never achieve that. And then they get it stuck in their head. It keeps going around. Something sets them off. And it sets them down this path where what's going to happen eventually is that their ticket to fame, just like the Aurora, Colorado shooter, they're going to go shoot up a place, get the most amount of kills they can, so they have their 15 minutes of fame. Whether they're dead or alive, they don't care. People know their name now.
The genesis of this, I believe it just goes back to Columbine. People still remember. There are documentaries, there's songs about it.
Don't
people
you remember,
want
like,
to identify with that
there's
thing.
There's people who are legitimately in love with the, like, there's like a whole subset of girls that are in love with the guys who shot up Columbine. Like, it's fucked up.
Exactly. People want to be remembered like that. I follow Mr. Medicare. He makes a really good point about what to do with these kind of shooters. Because what they want,
acknowledge them.
What they want is that fucking acknowledgement that like the Klebold and Harris had.
Yep.
What they did, it was awful.
That's what I was going to say.
Point and laugh at them, make fun of them. They look at them.
They're a fucking waste of life that did this entire. That's why we're not mentioning the name. That's why anytime you're going to see a slug popped in, they're censored.
My biggest
Legit,
thing is,
I don't care about what they went through. Everything. I feel sorry for the people they killed. People who had families. People who had lives.
The way I look at this is that I don't even really want to make fun of them, because that's still giving them some sort of credit for what they did. In my personal opinion, yes, it's a part of history. You should always learn from history.
Learn not to fucking do this shit.
After you're done learning from that history, lock it away. You never have to acknowledge them again. Understand what happened there, learn from it, move on from it. Don't mention them, because that's all they ever wanted. They wanted to be the topic of conversation. They wanted to be the one that was either made fun of or looked up to or revered. Just forget them. That's all you need to do.
And I think for that we're gonna segue into other stuff, something way more lighthearted than this. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, don't glorify retards like this. Let them die off in obscurance, just the way we're gonna do now. So we got our piece out of it, but today I actually wanted to also talk about the weird side of the internet. Something that was actually mentioned on sort of my live stream yesterday, since we're getting on the topic of seeking fame and online stuff. Apparently there seems Chris Chan is somebody that
Are we going back? Are we going back?
There's apparently a new chapter to the Kristen.
Let me give the
Whoa! You mean Christine, dude? Don't be offensive.
Fucking 2018, Kyle. Jesus. So basically,
don't assume their religions.
Listen, for me, guys, I have the utmost respect for every single person on the internet. Okay, I'm not saying this to be PC in the moment, but I'm just saying I genuinely. Here's the thing. I don't give a shit about anybody on the internet. The only people I give a shit about are the people in this call with me, because they're friends and family to me. I don't give a shit about anybody else. But I like watching the lolcow side of the internet, the weird side. And I think lolcow's a derogatory term, as it should be.
I mean,
but the thing is that I made this video last week on Mundane Matt, and I talked about the false flagging nonsense and what you really shouldn't be fucking doing on the internet if you want to make this your home, right? So with Chris Chan, the situation is that Chris is one of those individuals that suffers from, things like high functioning autism, right? He has some cards working against him. Chris genuinely has had legitimate trolling that has been very malicious, that has happened in the past, and fucked up things that really shouldn't have happened. But at the same side of that coin, on the flip side of that rather, he's also done things that just make you go, why? Like, at the same time, why the fuck would you do that, right? Like, come on. It doesn't matter how many social issues you're going through in your head at this moment, but you still should know better. So what he started to do is just the weirdest thing in the world. Basically, him and his mom are requiring funds, okay? Because at this point, they have the financial crisis that's kicked in, where basically they have to pay like a mortgage, right? So, or rent or whatever you want to say, which is adult stuff. Now, Chris is relegated to sell autographed fucking thumbnails of his mother out. I'm just fucking surprised why this is a thing. Like, why do people do this shit and then complain 5 fucking minutes afterwards? I'm getting trolled. Like, motherfucker, you are asking for it. You are literally putting the fucking gun to your head, pulling the trigger and saying, why do I have a motherfucking headache? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me whatsoever. I just don't get it.
The worst fucking part is that now I fully believe that Chris Chan is fully unhinged. I don't think he even, I'm pretty sure he's delusional. Like I told you, he legit confirmed that one of his character told him that it was actually born a male. It was a female character. He said that character told him, person to person. Also, there's been a lot of stuff about the financial crisis or whatever. There's actually listings of his fucking expenses. There's a lot of things like asking for money. He gets money for whatever, and then straight up, the first thing he does is just buy shit. He buys toys, he buys games, he buys everything except the things says he's going to use the money for it.
You know, that's another thing with anybody in that situation. You know, you're talking about like fucking Mundane Matt, all these people who, and you know, when money is mentioned in YouTube circles, like when you have Patreons and shit, you basically put the gun to your head and you're walking on high wire. People are going to be micromanaging everything you fucking do. If I show a drink that I'm having on a stream and I was asking on Patreon, motherfuckers would be making threads on Reddit about how much that drink cost me and how much I'm spending on drinks every month, right? Like, there would be some, you basically open yourself up to that amount of fucking scrutiny, which is why, unless you really fucking need it, you know, there's people that I defend on Patreon, people who have like an actual production that requires a certain amount of money investment for sure. But a lot of people like, you know, Chris Chan or anybody who basically gets showered with money upon doing work on literally their own time. Like, they're not accountable. Nobody's telling them to finish something by a due date or anything of the sort. It puts them up into a situation where people are going to call you out more so and above, and they rightfully will call you out. Like, at this point in time, people have given them so much stuff that it ends up, it's just weird. It's like, how does it go on this fucking long and never gets touched upon, never stops? You know, the train never fucking ends. We never reach the end of that train. We never reach the station. The train just fucking goes. It's derailed. It is currently headed for some fucking place that I hope to God has an ending platform for this train. But right now it's just going and going and going. And I don't see any end of sight to it. Anytime a lot of these people have an issue, like an actual adult issue, they have like fucking cockroach luck and they survive by the fucking skin of their teeth and they just keep on going day to day to day. I just don't get it, dude.
You know, one of the biggest things with Chris Chan is, this kind of ties back to the Jacksonville thing. It's a legitimate miracle that with the amount of shit that he has dealt with from the YouTube community over the years, that he hasn't snapped to the bad side.
I mean,
you're actually right, dude.
That man has endured. There are videos, there are 10-part videos detailing basically what's called the sagas, but if you really look at it, it is what those 10-part videos are detailing is just a sad and ludicrous amount of trolling and bullying and just kind of intolerance in a way.
You know, the thing is with Chris Chan, like, I genuinely do feel bad for him. As unhinged as he may seem, I do feel bad for him. I think that there is a part of the internet that is just so fucking vehemently against him. It's also why, to an extent, I always feel bad for anybody. Like, even if it's mundane fucking Matt, as much as I hate the false flagging shit or DSP gaming, because like nobody. I don't like seeing that much fucking pinpoint, concentrated trolling at somebody, right? Like, exactly. I don't like seeing it. Like, I don't like seeing it as a person. I can kind of understand why they fucking get it. Absolutely. I just don't like seeing it. So I feel bad, especially knowing that Chris actually has a social development disorder. So like, there are times where like, cause when you mention he's buying games, I'm going to have to disagree with you, Kyle, on the fact that he's going to go shoot up anything or like be that. Because I don't think Chris has the fucking mentality to do that.
No fucking way he can get a gun.
Here's the thing. Nowadays, fuck no. Nowadays, fuck no.
I think
back when everything started, like when it was just Sonichu and all that crap, I think there's a very real chance that there was a fork in the road, and he, at a 50-50 shot, went down the right road and didn't go down the wrong one.
Wow, what a Mass Effect-esque choice to make, right? Paragon or Renegade. But fucking no. I think he's a kid is the thing, right? He's a child. So I don't think he has that thought process in his head. I think as long as life gives him Legos, he's totally fine with everything. So I don't know. Dude. I think Chris Chan wouldn't fucking shoot up anybody. I don't think he would. And I don't think he ever would. I think for him it's always going to be an issue of the world is against me, which I'm gonna be serious. Yeah, they are. They really are. Chris. Like
the Death Star for Sonichu, dude.
And I'm always gonna hate seeing somebody try to be romantically trolling Chris. Like, oh, Chris, because that's the worst kind of. Don't fucking romantically troll somebody. You fuck. That's retarded. If you do that, if you catfish somebody and for the express purpose of telling them, good job, retard, you jacked off to a guy on the internet. That's not fucking right. All right, that's not kosher. So don't be doing that.
It's not funny. It's not right.
It's not. It's just
sad.
That's really
everyone's wasting their time. It's just fucking sad.
Yeah, if you spend 2 weeks of your life fucking having internet Skype sex with Chris Chan, who's the fucking real loser in this situation? Let's be fucking real here. You or Chris?
Right.
Come on, ask yourself
Who gave the boner.
Was
it the material or was it the man?
Ask yourself that question, troll. If you're sitting down for 4 hours a night going like, oh, Chris, please. Who's the real loser? Let's anybody. That could be fucking anyone, okay? You could be trolling any dude on the internet. If you're talking to Wings of Redemption romantically and you trick him into fucking believing you're like Scarlett Johansson and he's fingering himself and you're fingering yourself, guess what? He unknowingly jacked off to Scarlett Johansson. You fucking jacked off to Wings, dude. Who the fuck is the real loser in that situation?
Is he actually fingering himself in this scenario?
Probably the butthole.
I want to believe, but
these are questions that don't need answers.
These are images that don't need thoughts applied to them. But no, dude,
let me snap my fingers.
I think today's topic has actually been fairly decently covered. I think for this episode of the podcast, I feel that there's obviously talking about the situation that is very difficult to do, and there's the proper way to discuss something like this, where that I think the media never covers is how much of this was brought on by the community pegging this person down, because there's obviously an element of people trolling a loser at any competitive game that's pushed this. It's how unhinged somebody could be. But one thing that isn't in common is the link between fucking Fortnite, video game addiction, and this crap, because this is a mental issue through and through. This is somebody, this could have been a sports game. This could have been a fucking Dungeons and Dragons fuck session. This could have been Magic the fucking Gathering. This could have been Connect 4 tournaments. Point is, if somebody's that fucking unhinged, you don't need much to set them off. And the medium isn't the problem. It's the people doing the fucking crime is the goddamn problem. The medium can go fuck itself. It could have been anything. The person is very selective in this case, and they should be the one targeted early on and dealt with due accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
A fucking man, dude. Can't believe it. We made a podcast where we talked about a serious issue, and then we just went right to fucking Chris Chan. What's wrong with us, dude? Jesus Christ.
Oh, you gotta like the mood.
Nah, dude. That's what's right with us. We go from a school shooter.
He didn't shoot up a school. He shot up. Well,
don't go to school tomorrow.
You know what, Chris? I'm gonna invite you. You know what? If Chris ever wants to come on the podcast or Wings, anybody, we would love to actually have you. We don't hate anybody that we, that has
no.
we don't hate anybody that has an anti-fan community. You just heard it right here from me. I actually genuinely feel bad. It's not pity or anything. I just feel fucking bad. So
it's kind of shitty to have a community that toxic, honestly.
God,
The thing is, I want to know that there's always two sides to the story.
There are two sides to the story. Exactly. I always want to know, like, does DSP get portrayed as a fucking terrible guy? Absolutely, on the internet for sure. But you got to give your side of the story, and you got to have the balls to just come out and say it. That's about it, dude. But anyways, I'm gonna back out of this. Let that whole element of the internet be in its whole element of the internet. You should watch Mr. Medicare if you definitely want to experience that side in its full front. If you want to concentrate it into your brain, if that's what you're looking for.
Oh, if you're ready for it.
if
that boy covers some. Oof.
I think that's. I think that's.
Right. Baby.
I think that's clear for this episode, boys. So if you have any final things to say.
All right. Well, as I've said before, I am Extreme Elixir. Come and join me on my live stream. I am currently doing Resident Evil 7, among other things. Sometimes I play Siege with Muda. So come check us out, dude.
I mean, Maru, I'll be doing a bunch of social experiments in New York the week. You know it coming right up. It's your boy.
Oh shit.
It's your boy.
Your boy Dab. And I'm
actually gonna be working on more art videos soon. So be on for that.
Give him the young yeet, and I'm the Ace of God, not the Ace, whatever. Ace of God. I upload videos on occasion to YouTube for
the boy, aka the boy who disappears.
The boy who disappears frequently.
And I'm Oive Gaming. Please follow me for realistic terrorist hunt
operations. Dude, you have a Twitter? What's your Twitter handle?
Oh yeah, it's @GoFuckYourself. This is us and we're out.